What's up, man?
Living the good life, bro.
Hell's yes, dude.
Did you fucking see what Shai did? 1.9 seconds left in the game. He transforms into, I don't even know if I should say it, Michael Jordan? Does that look like Michael Jordan to you, Dave?
Well, I mean, if we're going to just bring this out, let's just talk about this for a second. I sent you something, Mark. It said Trey Mann posted this last night after the game. Trey Mann says, God knew how much I loved Michael Jordan growing up, so he put him on my team with him. Put me on a team with him. So Trey Mann saying some big ass words right there. My buddy Blake, we talk all the time. He asked me if Shai reminded me of Michael Jordan or Kobe. I said he was kind of like a mixture. Like he got a little bit of Kobe's DNA, got a little bit of Michael's DNA. And he's, Kobe was a 9-time first team defensive player. Michael Jordan was named, I think in 88 or 89, defensive player of the year, and then also had 9 first team defensive players. So to me, like both of those guys are incredible on defense, but the way that Shai steals the ball is, I feel, way more like Michael Jordan-esque on defense. So I feel like it's a nice little hybrid there. Okay. I think it's fun to see, man. Like the closing aspect of it. Closing aspects is fun, bro.
You switched up to defense, bro.
It has to. I mean, like have we ever seen an offensive player at his caliber at the guard that can play lockdown defense like he does? Have we ever seen it besides Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant?
No.
So, I mean, that's what we're saying. I mean, that's what I feel like we're at this moment of our lives where we in Oklahoma City, man, we get to watch a player that is a hybrid Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. And as we get older and he gets more mature and he starts putting up more points and he does more incredible things, I think it's going to be more evident that what we're watching.
So explain to me what the fuck we're seeing with Chet.
I think we're seeing with Chet was the thing that you and I always knew that was going to happen with Chet. I told you
triple-double with blocks.
Triple-doubles with blocks was going to happen. He was going to have 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14 blocks in the game. Like, this is the person that we knew we were going to get with Chet. But stepping up in a game against the defending champions at their homes after they already embarrassed us at our home. The way he stepped up like that, and listen, I've never seen Aaron Gordon get blocked on a dunk. I mean, I know Michael Cage said that.
I watched it 6 times, the way he reached his hand on top of it, and he just like pulled it back.
Couldn't believe it, man. Like, what was Chet? What happened to Chet was, I think everybody on Prime TV got a glimpse of how good Chet is going to be in the NBA. And I think it's scary because if you look at his last 5 games, he's had like 9 blocks, 3 blocks, 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 6 blocks, he is dominating.
Yeah. He almost
every
had
aspect of on the defensive end right now. And like you keep saying, almost a triple-double with blocks, which hasn't happened since what, the 1990s?
Since they said David Robinson. Michael Cage kept saying David Robinson in 1990.
I thought it happened just recently, but maybe I'm wrong on that.
He might have been talking about a rookie to do it, but was David Robinson a rookie in 90? I feel like he wasn't, but maybe he was because of the 2 years delayed in the
89, 90. I don't know.
So yeah, like what we're watching is something special, and you can be like, oh, there's a block shot in the first quarter, big shot, it's intimidating and stuff. There's a block shot in the fourth quarter that is clutch. He had both, but those clutch ones were, I mean, like his blocks kept getting more spectacular and more important and more crucial. And when you win a game by 1 point and the guy has 9 blocks, you like you don't have to do a lot of math to figure out how important those were.
You don't, and it's truly spectacular. It's insane. It's whatever you want to say it. 17 points, 11 rebounds, 9 blocks. Incredibly efficient from shooting with 6 for 12. And I just gotta step back and I gotta say is there's something different in players. Like, did I have any doubt in my mind the second that listen, coach calls timeout if Shai can't catch the ball?
Shai's got
After we got the stop or steal or whatever, down by 1, coach calls timeout if Shai doesn't get the ball. And the reason that is because then we get the ball at half court, put Josh Giddey in the game, we get Shai open, or somebody else gets open for an easy bucket. But Shai gets the ball, coach lets him play it out. We have 1 timeout left in his pocket. Let's Shai go up the court and just do his thing. Everybody cleared out for him. We all knew what was going on. I knew what was going on. I knew that Chet or nobody else is going to touch that ball because that was Shai's. You know, Shai loves Chet. I mean, I'm not saying anything about that, but guess what happened? The second Shai got the ball, you know, they were almost doubling, not quite doubling on Chet. You know, like they were letting somebody else beat us, and that's exactly what happened. You know, Shai went straight to that beautiful spot, and it's this picturesque, like fadeaway off one leg type shot, bro. And it's just what we're gonna see throughout our time in his career, man. Like people talk about like, oh, he's gonna be, you know, really good and all this other stuff. I don't think anybody truly understands his greatness yet. I mean, the fact is that he goes where he wants to go and scores for where he wants to score at any time, at any part of the game. And the thing is that when he's getting doubled, he has no problems passing the ball and getting 6 assists. Like, he is so efficient on every aspect of the game. And in a time period where efficiency is king, like, he's going to be the most efficient guard out there. He's going to be the most efficient defender guard out there. And you're going to be watching him dominate the NBA for many years. This is not one of those things where we're going to watch, you know, kind of like Yao Ming or somebody like that dominates for a couple of years and then they get old. You know, like Shai is going to dominate for so long. Why? Because Oklahoma City Thunder protects their players.
That's true. Dude, you know, they say, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the best.
That's it.
And I'm not saying that one win against the champs at their home puts us in that category, but it's a step along the way.
And down 10, 4 minutes to go.
There's just no way you can claim that you're the best in the league unless you've gone through these types of games and come out on top. It doesn't mean we're going to come out on top next time. We could still lose the series to them. So there's nothing like in a position where we think, oh, we're better than them. But for this one game, in this one situation, we executed on the stretch at an incredible way that we needed it. Because, like you said, we were down by 10, 2 minutes left, and they didn't stop making plays. When you watch it back, the Nuggets kept scoring, and we would score right back. They kept hitting big shots, but when it came time to get a stop,
cut it to 1. They hit a 3-point in the corner,
right.
Made it to 4 again. Like, it wasn't.
Shai comes and
just right.
takes the ball when it's time to get a stop. Chet makes blocks when it's time to get a stop. We get the stops, but not just the stops. We play in this really smooth transition. So teams aren't set up. We're not going to call that timeout to let them get set up. We have the spacing we want for the shot we want. It was just such a beautifully executed game. You know, we didn't end up getting it done against the Kings, Dave. And, you know, I said after that game, though,
it's hard.
I felt like we executed at a way that I was just really proud of the game. You know, we really made a couple of mistakes, you know, at the end of the third quarter, at the beginning of the fourth quarter. And that was it. That was that game against the Kings. So This game, you know, we found ourselves in that deficit. It wasn't a smooth, like, oh, yeah, we just went on and won it. We had to do what we're not wanting. We want to win these games by a bit of a margin, not necessarily hit a shot at the end to take the lead. But
you're right.
That's just part of the process right now. We didn't surprise anybody when we came in there. Coach Malone was a hell of a coach. Jokic, everybody knows what he can do. This whole thing is incredible, Dave. This was the game of the season, not just the game of the season. I want to go as far as to say this is the best game we've had since the rebuild started. I know we won the play-in game. That was spectacular. Yeah. But this game, to me, represents so much more because I honestly believe we are a contender this year. And I know people don't want to say it, but I really believe we are.
Yeah, man. And they went big ball on us. I mean, they went straight up and put up. They had Gordon, Holiday, Porter, all forwards right there. They had Jokic, right? They had as a center, and then they had Murray, who's a big guard, right? So they went big on us, right? And, you know, people are going to sit here and say, well, this is proof that Josh Giddey's not, you know, in the playing time and all this other stuff. Listen, when they went big on us, we had one option. That was to play J. Will as many minutes as possible, and that was 22 minutes tonight. That's all Josh Giddey minutes, man. That's all Josh Giddey minutes.
Okay,
because
let's talk about
he had to play Jokic.
J. Will played great. All right, his game was incredible.
Doubt. But that's because he was playing Jokic, and we had to have somebody other than Chet playing Jokic the whole game.
So he shot 3 for 4 from deep, and he had 6. I'm sorry, that's wrong guy. He had 4 rebounds and 1 assist that passed to Isaiah Joe. But you mentioned Giddey, so let's back up. Let's talk Josh Giddey for a minute. Okay, so he did not start the third quarter. Frustrating fact. Coach says, like you said, we have to make some adjustments. We go big. We match up.
Big.
We put J. Will in the game. But when it came Josh Giddey's time in the fourth quarter, it was like he had a turnover and coach pulled him out within a couple of minutes. And he didn't see the court again. And I was watching him on the bench. Like, he wasn't happy about that. I can't blame him. Sometimes it's hard to hide your emotions, but he wasn't prepared for not playing pretty much most of the game. I thought he had some good moments when he was playing, but he had some trouble handling, like, even some of the shots he hit. He just didn't look like he was in a comfortable position. So
exactly,
this is an unprecedented territory for all of us in this situation. So I just feel like with Josh right now, how does the team handle where he's at?
I mean, I'll be honest with you, is that I understand that people are going to say his shot selection or this or that. But listen, what's happening right now is we're seeing this evolution of Josh being forced to play a power forward position. And when you're playing a power forward position on defense, you're going to be up against the, a more difficult, physical players. So looking at like that, you see players like J. Will who do better, because if you put J. Will, and this is something you and I talked a significant amount of before the season, I thought that J. Will was somehow going to start showing that he's more valuable at that power forward position to line up against Chet, and kind of like this traditional power forward center position of the center being a big wide body like Kendrick Perkins, and then you have a big lanky guy at the power forward like KG, like Chet. Like, to me, like, that makes sense a lot. But to get there, we have to figure out where the holes have to be filled. And one of those holes that have to be filled, in my opinion, is that power forward position of who we're going to stick in that place. Can Josh get bigger? Can he get faster? Can he make it so that people are underestimating him and he becomes a better player because of it? Sure. But right now, he's learning that new position, and coach is putting him in positions that are going to help him out. And times that, like this last night, where we knew that Josh could help out the team in the third quarter, right? But the problem was we knew J. Will would be a better player against Jokic during that time because he's going to wear him down. And that's exactly what coach saw too. So to me, it wasn't a diss on Josh. This was hey, Josh, J. Will is going to do a better job against Joker than you are going to do against Michael Porter Jr., or you're going to do against Aaron Gordon, or you're going to do against Holiday. So we're going to go right here. And again, it's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yo, I think you're right. I think we have to not try to look at everything all at once. We have to kind of take this game for what it was. And the matchups just weren't in favor of him. And the type of game that we needed to play. Right.
I mean, think about the Sacramento Kings. Think about these other teams that have legit power forwards that are out there. And you got to say, this is what it's going to be like until Josh can get to that power forward body, mass size.
He played a really good game. Well, I'll say this about the Kings, right? He played a really good second half against the Kings. He started in the third quarter. He got 10 points in the third, and then he was given the opportunity to close the game, and he did a hell of a job. But that's how it is for Josh right now. Like, you got a guy like Isaiah Joe who's making defensive plays, but is obviously a guy who needs to get opportunities to close games because of his ability to knock down shots. Even when he's not knocking him down like he hasn't been, he still demands respect, because at the end of the game, boom, he hits one, and it's because his teammates trust him, and he's got to shoot, no conscience when he's a shooter. Casey Wallace, he needs minutes. Wiggins needs minutes. Kenny Williams plays that power forward position, center position, like the one that Josh is being asked to play, and he also has the ability to defend a little bit more like Josh's dad probably did. I haven't seen too much, but like Giddey, like, I think that's kind of where we're at with Josh. Like, he's got to continue to find a way to tap into that Giddey style, like, get after it, defensively, and build from there. Like, these guys that came in during the beginning of the rebuild who earned minutes because of their offense are now having to figure out how to earn them up because of their defense. And certain guys earned them from their defense early on, like Dort and Wiggins, and they know how to do it. So be patient. I know we say that a lot with Josh right now, but last year he had a tough start. A lot of people were, going after him, asking him to get, to trade him. He ended up with another spectacular year. I know that he's frustrated. I wish I could put my arm around him and just be like, listen, because I've been a coach. I've been seen so many times kids lose confidence because they're not out there playing. And you want to say, like, use this time to focus on your craft, continue to improve. Your moment will come back, and when it does, be prepared. Because I've been in that spot as a player where you're outside the rotation, and you would literally do anything to be in the rotation, but coach has decided to go in a different direction. Okay, it doesn't mean it's over. There was times, bro, where because of injury, I went from being the 13th man to the 6th man because it's decimated with injury. So don't drop your head. Keep fucking fighting. Your chance will come, and you'll have a chance to prove to people what level talent you really are. And this is a difficult thing because you can tell the noise is getting to them. But learning to block out the noise is something that every single elite player has to do, and it's even more imperative for him to do this at the moment.
My question for you is:
game.
What is 15 minutes of booing bad, or is 30 minutes of booing bad? Like, that's what coach is also looking at right now. And I hate saying it, but every single time that Josh touches the ball, it's a boo. And that's fine. And that's the way it's going to go for quite a while. But sometimes it's rather, with the way things go, we'd rather 15 minutes of it rather than 30 minutes of it. And to me, like, it's about getting used to it. And once he gets used to it, I don't doubt that Josh is going to be a top player, point guard / forward in the league. But our bench last night, man,
but dude,
11
honestly,
points from
Josh,
J. Will.
He needs to study film from Chet last year when Chet was sitting on the bench. Study film about how Chet cheered and encouraged, because those guys were there for you when they couldn't play. And if you're out and you're only thinking about yourself, that's problematic. Because remember, Dave, we talk about this to each other all the time. Sam Presti, what does he watch? He watches the bench.
Yeah.
You have to be other people focused. I'm sorry to cut you off, bro. You're talking about the bench, but
no, you're right. But this is exactly where the bench belongs. I mean, that's what you see. Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Kenny Hustle, and Jay Will. They're always standing up on big shots and stuff like that. Like, Josh has got to get used to that. And the reality is, if coach was done with Josh, he'd be coming off the bench already. But coach isn't done with Josh. He's not putting him to the bench, and that is
do you
proof
think people
that
can boo somebody out of the NBA?
Listen,
because I feel like they could do it to Josh. I feel like they legitimately could boo him out of the NBA.
Let's just be honest with it. Is they booed Ben Simmons out of Philly. So is it abnormal for them to boo players? I mean, Kobe Bryant got booed.
There's no safe place for Josh. The only safe place that doesn't boo him right now, every time he touches the ball, is Oklahoma City.
So
I feel like
if you
they
look
could
at
boo
it,
him.
but I'm saying, look at his minutes. Look at his minutes in Oklahoma City. I mean, that tells you everything you need to know. When we're playing at home, his minutes are more. So it's just one of those things where, to me, it sucks.
To me, I feel like this is the first time I've ever felt like there should be I'm concerned legitimately of the mob actually destroying lives in this way that is irreversible. And it makes me feel like there needs to be somehow some sort of government intervention where you limit the amount of mob violence that takes place.
Can I be honest about this whole thing? Last year, we talked about Ja Morant. We said the Memphis Grizzlies need to pull him off of the court. Before the second incident happened, we said they need to pull him off and they need to take him out of the completely, because they need to get right with his mental aspect. Like, in my opinion, at this moment, yes, playing Josh Giddey 15 minutes a game is great or whatever, but I would rather the Oklahoma City Thunder pull Josh out of the game, get him, I'm sure he's getting, all the help he can get right now, but make sure that he's double downing in it.
He doesn't look okay, bro.
And that's my point, is that he needs to have time away from the basketball right now, because it's ruining there's a point that, okay, if you ever get on a team where you have a bunch of mean kids and you get one player that's, really good, and those mean kids are just, destroying that one player, it gets in their head. And this is what's happening. And I feel so bad for Josh. And I wish that he just could get some time away, get with his family, do all that other stuff. And we had Christmas, it would make
psychological risk of
right now. That's what we're playing with right now.
But is it more risky to pull him off, or is it more risky to put him in a spot where all of a sudden now it's like the mob won? He kind of needs to stay in the routine of the NBA.
That's when, God damn, I hate saying injuries sometimes help players. I mean,
I know
a sprained ankle, a sprained ankle, a twisted wrist, those things help players in situations like this. To me, Josh is one of those players that If I'm Sam Presti and I'm Coach D, I'm like, Josh, fall down during practice and act like your ankle's twisted. I know that's against the NBA league rules, but my point is that like
that's what it takes.
You got to look out for yourself sometimes. You got to look out for I and I know there's no I in team, but in situations like this, mental aspect and when it's mental health, like you got to look out after I, because like we've seen guys like Ben Simmons not be able to get out of that bubble. We've seen guys like, I could go down in league, history of players that did something and never able to get past it.
That's what I'm
think
afraid
about
right
Ron
now.
Artest,
but he still was able to, like that. It's just
he was able to get over it. But think about it, for the next 2 years, anytime he went anywhere, everybody booed him.
Yeah.
Like after he started playing, so it was like 3 years down the road from the incident and people booed him everywhere. Again, it's just, I'm looking at this and I'm saying Josh Giddey isn't a problem right now, but the problem is that if he doesn't get help mentally and he doesn't get, time away essentially to fall in love with basketball all over again, that it's going to be something traumatic in his life. It's already dramatic, but traumatic is something a whole new deal. So
I think it's
there's that.
traumatic.
And then I want to address something Chris J said here. The offensive rebounding is killing us. Yes. But last night I counted the offensive boards because I always do that. They had 2 incidents where they had 3 or more offensive rebounds in one play. Okay. And they only end up last night with only 17 offensive boards. So I'm sorry, it's three times. So my point about that is we got 9 offensive boards. I'd like to see us be within 5 offensive boards of the other team. I think we've only a couple times this season have we ever won the offensive board game. But the reality of what we play and how we play our defense, it's always going to leave the boards open. We don't keep our big man inside always. And when we don't do that, it's going to be one of those detrimental plays. And if you look at these trade ideas for guys out there right now, and like Lauri Markkanen and this player, that player, or, like there's so many different options of players right now that people are saying that are available. Listen, I understand all that stuff. I understand what it is to say, let's go all in right now. But the reality of it is that we don't know how much Chet's going to get better. We don't know how much this offensive boards are still going to kill us. We could figure something out. We could find a group of guys that do really well on defensive boards, and we just play those guys a lot more. Like, I don't know how this is all going to roll out. But for us to go and trade 4 first-round draft picks for Lauri Markkanen, which we could have him for 2 years, I get that. But if he doesn't work in our system, then that puts us back, like significant. That puts us back a lot. And I just want to stop at that moment and think about this. What's more important, for us to get a big man this year, right now, on a desperate move, or for us to be patient and wait for a move like, hey, Lauri Markkanen is going to go to a team like, I don't know, Denver or something like that, and stepping up and helping a team like the Heat pick up Lauri Markkanen instead? Because then we get extra aspects out of it. And to me, that would be more valuable than trying to take over Lauri Markkanen's contract, is getting him out of the West. Like, get Lauri Markkanen out of the West, and then we don't have to worry about that. Because I want to see, in the long run, this Oklahoma City Thunder team, like, bring in big men that fit the system. In this next draft, there's 3 or 4 big men that will fit our system that we could utilize, that could play really well, and that shoot the 3, and that know how to rebound like a mad motherfucker. So I would rather keep it in-house, train that player. And I know that that means that people are like, well, that means we can't compete this year. But I disagree.
I'll say why I disagree. Because we're learning how to do it, bro. It's the second and third efforts on rebounds that we're starting to do again. We did it last year, and we're starting to figure it out again. You can't let anybody have a clean offensive rebound.
Yeah.
That's how, didn't you notice that? We're gang rebounding again. And I know we're not where we want to be, but there were a couple of moments in this game where we hit that flow that I was talking about a little bit ago, Dave. Like, a few weeks ago, I think I said, like, hey, we're doing fine, but we're still not playing well. Yeah. Like, we're winning games, but we're not hitting that level of flow where it's like no team can stop us. And during moments of this game, we got into that where it was just like, we were saving the ball out of bounds to another guy who was saving the ball out of bounds, and then we were all of a sudden scoring on the other end. It's like, who can stop that? like
Sure.
flow.
Yeah.
And we hit it. And we're about to hit it like a motherfucker because it took us till mid-January to hit it last year. And
You're right.
once
You're
we
right.
hit it, watch the fuck out because we are a contender. I want everybody just to realize that. Like, I know that all the smart people out there are like, oh, they're good right now. But are they really contenders? No. They don't fucking know. You don't have a defense like ours, an offense like ours, a superstar like Shai, a defensive superstar like Chet, a secondary star like Jdub, which we did not fucking talk enough about Jdub.
No, dude. That was
Jdub,
insane, dude.
huge play after huge play down the stretch. And he started out the first half struggling. You could tell he was frustrated. And all of a sudden, he just transforms. And those dunks, bro.
I know,
Oh,
dude.
my God, dude. I can't believe it took us so long to talk about the dunks by Jdub.
Think about the way he goes down the lane and
angry.
Gets so high up, right?
And his arms are so long.
He talks about it. He's like, I'm Jalen Williams, right? And then Jdub comes out whenever you see me yell. And he threw that dunk down, and he, right down the middle, and threw it down. And he starts yelling, and Cage is like, I wonder if that's where Jdub comes out. And it's like, no, duh. Like, that's Jdub right there. When he is able to get up, and I wrote Mark the second I saw it too. I was like, we're gonna see Jdub do this throughout his career. Like, this is gonna be known as Jdub shit, because once he becomes like, oh, I can do this easily, like he's already seeing he can.
Right.
It's just gonna be dunk after dunk after dunk after dunk.
What do you say?
It's over.
What does Coach say to bring out Dub?
Huh?
What does Coach say to bring out Dub?
I don't know, man. What does he say?
I don't know. Like, what does he got to do? Tell him to eat his Wheaties? You know what I mean? Like, whatever
dude,
the fuck it takes, dude.
Listen, I think he has to put him in a situation and call a play for him. Let's just be honest. Like, I want to see Coach early on call a play for Jdub that's backdoor, that's high elevated, and that's an alley-oop, whatever. Yeah. Because Jdub even threw an alley-oop to Chet last night, and there's so many. And there's so many weird, like crazy things. Like he elevated, had all the big men on him, and then just this floater where everybody's like, "That's a floater," and then Chet just throws it down. I was like, "Whoa, I wasn't expecting that." Like to me, like he does these crazy things that you have to just stop and appreciate. And
dude, can you imagine?
I wish I could say this, but like this is the reality. Chet, Jdub, Shai, and the Slob. Like they all do these crazy, insane things, man. And when you do these things that you're just watching and you're like, holy cow, that might be the best player in the NBA at that attribute. That might be the best player at that attribute. Mm-hmm. That might be the best player in the league. And then you start sitting back and you start realizing, like you said, like I've said, that this year is a contending year if we stay healthy. If we stay healthy, there's not a chance in the fucking world, that this team isn't a top 3 in the West. And everybody's gonna be looking at us and gonna be like, holy shit, like how do we play against Oklahoma City? I don't want to match up against them. You're gonna be the 7th seed, which is it's gonna be one of those teams that are fighting for it. And they're gonna be like, fuck, dude, I don't want that. Whether it's the Clippers, Lakers, or whoever that's gonna be fighting for that position, they're gonna be like, I'd rather be the 8th seed and play against a team. The 6th seed. I'm sorry, the 6th seed, and I would rather be the 7th seed or whatever. Like you could see some crazy shit happen in order for teams not to play against Oklahoma City. And it's like, yeah, 100%. That's where I think this team's at. Is that this team has separated themselves from the rest of the pack. Is not only the young team, but the future is here in Oklahoma City. And if you look at anybody in the league that's halfway intelligent on podcasts, on ESPN, they all know it. They all know it. JJ Redick's talking about it every fucking episode. He whispers about Oklahoma City because he gets it. All right. I'm not saying JJ Redick's one of the greatest minds in the NBA, but he is one of the greatest minds on the NBA podcast level. And he's out there saying that the Oklahoma City Thunder is a team that's going to crush you. Every single podcast. And then you got a game like this. What do you think is going to happen, guys? Everybody's going to be yelling from the rooftop. Chet for Rookie of the Year. Shai MVP. That means what? What? That means what? Guys, Oklahoma City Thunder are for real this year. Mark it up. Start saving up for playoff tickets because it's going to happen, guys.
Buckle up, bitches. It's going to be all right.
Catch you guys tomorrow.